It's time for At Your Service, the service management podcast from CRM Audio with Microsoft Business Applications MVPs Sarah Jelinek, Scott LaFonte, and Shawn Tabor. This episode is brought to you by Resco. Resco is a leading mobile solution for Dynamics 365. Resco Mobile CRM is an invaluable tool for the field service engineer working in field service for Dynamics 365. Other solutions from Resco include Route Planner, which combines geographic and calendar data, even taking into account variables such as traffic and weather to ensure that your agents plan the optimal route to their work sites. Resco also offers inspections, which allows you to create, assign, and complete field service inspections with ease. Stay tuned at the end of the podcast for a Resco update from Agnes. We thank Resco for sponsoring At Your Service, the service management podcast from CRM Audio.
Welcome to another episode of At Your Service, the service-oriented podcast focusing on customer service, field service, and project service here on the CRM Audio Network. It's a bit of a milestone today. I think mainly because I forgot to mention it 6 episodes ago, but this is our 30th episode, and to celebrate, we have our wonderful co-hosts, Mr. LaFonte. How you doing, Scott?
I am doing well, Shawn. How are you?
Oh, good Lord. It's going to be one of those podcasts.
It is.
And the one that keeps me sane on this podcast, Sarah Jelinek. How are you doing, Sarah?
I don't know quite yet after hearing Scooter talk
Yeah,
about that.
I don't know.
It'll be good. We'll be fine. We'll get through this. It's all good.
That's right.
I'm hoping we do. But today, this is our 30th episode, not counting special episodes. But this is our 30th episode. So we have been going, since we averaged 2 a month, we have been going for a year and a half.
Yeah, I think we started, September-ish of 2017?
Yeah. So that's pretty cool. So, but when we started, there was no project service. When we started, there was no framework, customer service framework.
No.
When we started, what else? When we started, the schedule board. Well, hell, there's a lot of stuff in field service that wasn't there.
Yeah,
I had something on the tip. I had something on the tip of my tongue, and then I lost it. But that's all right.
It happened. Oh, and when we started, we did not have the Diva.
We did not. When we started, we had Ivan Kurtev.
And you guys went on that crazy road trip.
Yes, we did. And Scooter was a guest. And I said, hey, you're doing a lot better. So come on board. So, yeah, And then, Scooter went on to greatness. So there you go. So today, I want to talk about, I think, the top of mind topic. The April release notes are out, and lots of cool stuff in customer service and field service. And we'll talk about what's in there for project service too. But so why don't we talk about that? Let's get first impressions. And let's start with Sarah. What was your overall impression of the release notes this time?
Every time I see them, I'm like, yes, awesome. I cannot wait. Why do I have to wait? I want that now. You're teasing me. Give it to me now. I'm so excited with the features that Microsoft continues to give us in Dynamics 365. I know we talked about this in previous podcasts. I've been working a good portion with talent. Obviously, customer service is my passion. Field service is my next one, and working with that. And I'm just seeing these features. I'm like, yes, you're going the right direction. You continue to go in the right direction, and I can't wait.
What about you, Scott?
Yeah, I echo that sentiment. For me, being the field service guides, I look and I'm like, embedded IoT and scheduling, and then I look at the dates and I'm like, oh man, I gotta wait a little longer. But it's it's all like, I was like, wow, yes, this is exactly, you know, what I've been waiting for, and seeing some of the things, and in talking to the product management team on the direction. You know, it's going to be a crazy wild ride over the next couple of years, and definitely looking forward to it, because there's a lot of really awesome functionality coming.
A lot of really cool stuff with IoT. Um, a lot of really cool stuff with mixed reality. Um, yeah,
Even the
I
portal.
agree. Yeah,
Hmm.
cool. Yeah, the stuff you're going to be able to do we could talk about scheduling. Oh my goodness. Yeah, there's so much cool stuff. So, well, let's dive right in. So let's start with customer service, and given that you are the Dynamics 365 Diva, which I understand that the crmdiva.com domain is available if you wanted to jump on that, Sarah. Um, but
CRM Diva. Oh,
yeah, I heard that from the person who forgot to update their account and keep that domain. But
oh,
anyways, so if you go out there, you can buy that domain real quick. Um, anyways, why don't we jump in with customer service, and let's talk about customer service, and what were the big wins for you in the release notes for customer service?
two of the biggest things that I found were really exciting in the release notes. One was SMS. I know we can do SMS through Flow, and being able to trigger some of that capability of being able to send someone a text message, but I think having it built into the system more, being able to give people updates on their cases. You know, we communicate a lot through email, through phone. I think this is just another great method for people to stay in touch and communicate. The other one is something that's close to my passion in customer service, and that's knowledge management. Being
Hmm.
able to have the knowledge article templates. That's a request I get a lot from our
Yeah,
customers, is that we have a style guide that we go through. We want headings to look like this. We want the body to look like that. We really don't want to have to do a lot of editing. Just really excited to see that functionality and what that's going to bring to us. And then, of course, the analytics with knowledge management, being able to see, failed searches. When people are trying to search for an article and not getting what they want, why are they not getting what they want? What are they typing in? Do we need to fix something? That's just something that you kind of have to rely on user experience and telling me, well, what did you search for? Okay, let me go try fix this. That is going to be huge for a lot of organizations to know. How can we make it easier for people to find our knowledge articles? So those are some of the big ones. I'm sorry, I actually looking at the notes here, the biggest one, the one they could literally have dropped the mic on,
yes.
case resolution extensibility.
Hallelujah!
Oh my
Let the
God,
clouds part and the sun shine down upon thee. I am so
angels
excited about that.
angels are singing right now, because
Yes.
that form, I love it and I hate it at the same time, because we can't change it.
No.
It's such a great source of information for us to
Yeah.
collect, and there's maybe like one or two fields I want to add or one I want to take away, but being able to edit that, oh my gosh,
Yeah.
so
How many
excited.
customers have you had where they say, "I my work isn't billable. Can we take that off the?"
Right.
And you're like, "No."
Yep. Like, no, it's there. Just
Yeah.
ignore it. Well, I want to
Yeah.
put something in there. Like, yeah, you can, but we're not gonna, we're not gonna give you a bonus for it.
Right. Right.
That's your job. Um,
And the duration, it always goes off of the activities. What if you wanted to add something else? What if you
mhm.
wanted, what if you didn't want to leverage that and have some kind of other component? Now you can add that to that. So,
Yes. And many times, Shawn, we've gotten to the point where we've modified the whole resolution process where we create our own.
right. Right.
We just hit resolve and that's it, and we don't have a dialogue up here because the stuff that appears for them is not relevant, and we prevent people from closing if they don't do things, and it's not a nice seamless way. I'd love to have a dialogue pop up that we can customize, so
Right.
that is awesome.
Absolutely.
June
Absolutely.
2019 cannot come fast enough for that. But it will come. I'm super excited. Thank you, Microsoft, for bringing that to us. This is great.
Yes, I'm very excited about that. Something that I really was excited about, given that I currently have an implementation going with Unified Service Desk, were a couple things. One, the ability to use Chrome,
Yes.
because what was it? 4.0 gave us Edge, but that's been problematic at best, I would
Mm-hmm.
say. Before 4.0, we had Internet Explorer, which, if you have a new PC, it's not readily apparent if you don't know how to get to Internet Explorer.
Mm-hmm.
So, you have to create a shortcut, get on your
Yep.
desktop, that kind of thing. And also, customers have moved on from Internet Explorer for the most part, and sometimes it's when you're implementing that, you're saying, oh, it's Internet Explorer. You're like, oh, then you got to drag them back into it. So I'm glad that we're going to be able to have Chrome for that. The multi-session agent experiences, that's going to be really great. Being able to do the first party and the line of business apps in sessions, that's extremely helpful.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of really cool stuff for Unified Service Desk that's really going to help that not only the agent experience but the supervisor experience as well. And then when you combine that with all the AI stuff that we're going to be able to do with AI for customer service, I mean, it's exciting. It really is exciting.
And hats off to Microsoft for allowing Chrome or bringing Chrome into Unified Service Desk. I think it emphasizes the capabilities that Dynamics has, and that we're not dependent on a browser. We're not dependent on certain software, that we really do want to make it truly cloud-based and work for you as best we can. Granted, Unified Service Desk is a client-based application that resides on the client, but still, I know when I demonstrate, I use Chrome because I just want to show people that you're not tied to particular software for this to work.
Yeah.
So hats off to them for doing that. I'm excited.
Right. And there's a couple little ones that are, if you have to look into the agent experience section of the release notes, and if you don't really look at it, you'll pass over it very quickly. But these will provide huge benefits and productivity gains for a customer service agent, and that's inline quick replies and inline notes. That
Nice.
is, I mean, with the inline quick replies, they're pre-configured, so you always get. I've never had an implementation where they say, well, we have 8 to 10 canned things that we always want to enter there.
Mm-hmm.
Can we do that? And then you got to create some kind of either option set that's bloated, or you're doing some kind of configuration change to make it work. But that being part and parcel of the system is really cool. And then the inline notes, you could take the notes related directly to the conversation, customer, or the issue without going away from the context of what you were talking about. So that's very cool.
I'm a big fan of the bring your own bots.
Yeah,
that's kind of cool.
Yeah, that's there's an overwhelming theme of the release notes, and that is AI and bots. I think because it's everywhere, which is really cool as well. What are your thoughts about the bots?
And I just, how many times have we heard from customers, they want bots. They have it in their systems today, and they want it in Dynamics. They want it with their portal. The fact that they can now, in my opinion, use what they already have, if they have it, it just goes to show you the power and the flexibility that the entire platform brings to you. You're not tied to whatever bots that, may be available to you through Microsoft or AppSource or anything else. If you have a particular bot and you have, an implementation partner or internal resources that can tie it all together, by all means, go for it. I think that's amazing.
Right.
Significant investment has been put in by your customers to build that, and they don't have to redo it.
Yeah.
That's really neat.
Right. Exactly. And there's also another theme that if you don't really pay attention to this particular portion of the Dynamics 365 suite, and that's Portal. For customer service, Portal messaging we're going past the standard portal comment activity, right? That we've been used to for all these years. It's true blue messaging that can be routed to the right rep based on the unified scheduling. So that's really great, and it's great to see more focus on the portal, especially given that the portal doesn't cost anything additional for the customer. You know what I mean? It's like icing on the cake, if you will. So, any other big rocks, let's call them, in customer service for you, Sarah?
I think those were kind of the big ones. I know that there's improvements when we're talking about some of that usability with SLAs. We talked about the multi-session. I'm excited for the supervisor experience as well, and being able to to see more insight into what's going on, and of course constant improvements in AI and the ability that's there.
Right.
Just keep going this direction. I think people are going to be happy with what they see.
And let's go next to this might take us a while to talk about, but let's cover what's in the release notes for Project Service Automation.
Let's see.
It's not deprecated. All right. Woohoo! All right.
Right.
Thank God.
It's not deprecated. Exactly. And I think it's there's so much going on that they want their own party for this.
Exactly.
That's right.
Well, but this does speak to the release notes being something that I think this started back in the October release notes, where this is a living document now, right? So as these release windows open, you'll get more detail into the release notes. Some things will be moved, dates can be shifted, because it's unlike historically, which we should mention in case someone's new to the podcast and doesn't really understand what we're talking about with the release notes. Historically, back in the day when we were on premises, when a release would take place, when it was available, it was a day and date. Boom. The whole thing's there, right? Now, the April release really means from April to September, functionality is coming into the system. That's really what that means. Not everything hits into your environment on April 1st, right?
April Fools.
Exactly, and it shows in the release notes how there's different features fall in different cadences, like you were mentioning, Sarah, for the case resolution that's coming in June, but the release is stated for April. So there's release windows throughout that release cycle. So I'm sure we'll see more information about what's coming for project service in due time.
Yeah. And I've had opportunities to meet with program managers, and they say, "Yep, I'm going out to docs, or I'm going to go update that right now in the release notes." It is a living document, and really the best place to go to that is docs.microsoft.com.
Absolutely.
To see the latest and greatest.
And we'll have a link to the release notes in the show notes, so not to worry there. All right, Mr. Scooter, it's up to you. Let's talk some field service. What got you excited about this release?
Well, in the September release, September, October, well, I should say October, November release, excuse me. The big buzz was around IoT Central, and I've had the opportunity to play around with that, which is awesome. So there's a lot going on in this April through September for IoT and embedded IoT visualizations with IoT Central. For me personally, the big win from a technician perspective is having that embedded visualization within mobile, and that is coming. And we know how big that is because you and I have spoken about that with clients and internally, and even with Microsoft. I can't even count how many times it's invaluable to have that information as a technician and being able to see that. And the fact that it's coming along with some additional provisioning capabilities with embedded IoT and IoT Central just goes to show you I think the investment that Microsoft is putting forward with that particular Azure functionality. And I don't know if we want to touch on the differences between IoT Central versus Hub, but it's dramatically different and dramatically easier.
Right. Well, and something to think about, when you say IoT visualizations, that sounds neat, sounds very buzzwordy, but what does it really mean? So consider you're a field engineer and you get a work order on your mobile device. Current world, you're going to get some information about potentially the last reading. You're going to get information on the issue at hand, what parts you need, that kind of thing, right? With an IoT visualization, and when you have connectivity, assuming that you're not going underground to work on something, which happens, you're going to get live readings on your mobile device as they're happening on that device. That is amazing. So, yeah. I mean, the difference between when you get in your truck to head to the site and when you get there, those readings could change significantly depending on what the issue is, right?
Absolutely.
So that gives you that forewarning and that notification. So if you need to make a call to home office and say, I need you to dispatch either more resources, more parts, what have you, you have the forward knowledge to do that rather than waiting until you get there on site. So that's really cool. But the visualization is a really cool new feature.
I'm not trying to downplay this, but it sounds like it's a plot in a movie. Like this is something that could never happen, but yet it's real life and it's exciting.
Dun dun dun. And the really cool thing about IoT Central is the fact that you can set up all of your metrics, right? So for each device, what are is it temperature? Is it vibrations? Is it the fan speed? So many different variables you can set up, and then set up the ranges. It's just really cool. And then when you do that, it then you can show what type of chart and graph you want for each of those metrics. It's really cool. And Big Ben Vollmer was able to send me some devices I've been playing around with, and it's fun. Not that I have a whole lot of time to play with it, but it's fun.
Hey, Sarah, you might want to pick up that name he dropped.
That's right, Ben Vollmer.
Yeah.
Big Ben.
He dropped it again.
Big Ben.
He dropped it again.
I did.
But you know what? It's not just the visualization, which is very powerful in and of itself, but we're going to be able to send device commands.
Yeah.
Right from the device through IoT Central. We're going to be able to do device provisioning if we need to, all from the mobile device. That is fantastic. That's really powerful for a field technician.
I mean, think about that. Think for a moment. I mean, if a device has a potential issue, right? So how many times have our devices, whether they're home, like a home router or a Google Home or an Alexa, they're just kind of flaked out, right? And they're not responding. And so what do? We reset it, we unplug it, whatever. I mean, think about having as a technician, or even internally within Dynamics, if you're a scheduler, and you can go and say, let me reset it. Let me send a command to it to reset it and see if that resolves the issue before sending someone out. I go, that's incredible that is coming.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I mean, we knew that IoT and connected field service could get you into that more proactive sort of maintenance, right? Before, so you don't roll out a truck and send a technician out. But now, to push that button, I'm curious to see how much more time and resources and just wear and tear on equipment this saves customers in the long run by enabling this type of functionality. It will be interesting to see, and I know there's been quite a bit of studies on on connected field service and IoT data just in general, but I mean, it's just becoming a lot more robust, a lot easier to implement. So I think what we're going to start seeing is a real big push, even a bigger push in the next year or two, especially in like that manufacturing world with connected devices.
Right. Absolutely. Something else that I feel like we are a little bit nerdy when it comes to field service, but the deep dive stuff is always the really cool, fun stuff for me, right? There's the flashy IoT enhancements, the bells and whistles, the shiny objects, but something that is seemingly simple is quite a huge deal, and that is in the scheduling capabilities, variable resource location.
Oh, yes. Thank you.
That is like the case resolution screen for us.
Yes. Oh, I mean, it's like, hey, what resource? Hey, if you want to use right now, for example, and for our listeners, you want to use the starting and end location of your resources to do, how long your ETA and do your even your resource schedule optimization. Well, that's great. But your start and end locations have to be the same. So they have to be either your resource location, they have to be location agnostic, or your OU. Well, now we have even more capabilities. So let's just say you're traveling from a customer location or home base or doing all these other things. I think it's even now it's going to be date effective location.
Right. You could have a different location every single day.
Yeah. It's fantastic.
Every single day. Yeah. What it's going to do for optimization is really amazing. It's going to also have an impact on their schedule. So if you're in another location in another time zone, that shifts your availability, so in your work hours. So it's going to be pretty awesome.
And I think the big thing too is with that is you have days where technicians are always coming to the office. Let's just say, oh, it's Wednesday morning for a meeting, weekly meeting. Well, that's where they start that day. Every other day, maybe they start from home or some other physical location. You have to keep updating the record, and that's just not feasible.
Right.
So
that's a lot of overhead.
Yeah.
It's a lot of overhead.
So this is really a huge deal. This is the I want for Christmas list.
Right. And the shiny toy for me, given things that are near and dear to our heart, coming soon to a portal near you, self-service scheduling.
Yes. So nice.
How flippin' cool is that? I mean, the scenario that you always think about when you go on the internet to schedule something, you think about, I'm going to go get my oil change, and I schedule it on the internet, right? Mm-hmm. Or any kind of service now you could schedule it on the web, but you couldn't do that necessarily on the out of the box portal. Now you're going to be able to, and it's still going to be able to trigger the same skills, the same characteristics. You're going to be able to still look for the right resource. All of that is going to be there, and it's going to be enabled on the portal, and it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool.
They've done, Dan Gittler and that team, the Universal Resource Scheduling team, have really done a fantastic job. I mean, even when you look at the optimization, there's that one optimization objective as soon as possible.
Yeah.
And being able to determine, well, you know what? Do you want to save some resources time in case something happens? Or, do you need to re-rank some things with your objectives to balance and make sure you still have some extra capacity? I mean, it's just the scenarios that they've come up with, and I'm sure they've come up with them based on customers and partners like ourselves that have said, hey, we have these really big scenarios that we always get.
Right.
But I never would have thought I would see some of these things. I always thought it would be, well, we're either going to have to come up with a configuration or customization, or you're just going to have to deal with it.
Right. Right.
So it's really, really cool. And some of the Power BI and organizational insights from an optimization standpoint that's coming, you can just really tell that, the Power Platform is really becoming exactly what we thought and knew it was going to become.
Absolutely.
In my prior life, I was a kind of a backup temporary dispatcher, and that as soon as possible capability of I need people in reserve for when servers go down and things are on fire. Having that capability to say, well, let's kind of keep the for lack of a better term, the big guns behind. Let's keep them free so that they can take care of those urgent issues, and let's get my kind of more junior technicians or my new guys, out there to get the experience that they need, and keep my big resources behind a provide assistance as necessary. That's you're right. It's things that we think, oh, it should be there. It should be there. It should work, and it's going to be there. It's going to be awesome.
Right. Absolutely. And there's a couple of service delivery enhancements that I want to call out because, Sarah, this will again be near and dear to the customer service heart and you, but related to field service, the SLA enhancements. We can now do SLAs against work orders.
Exactly what a technician does not want to hear, but
no.
But we as people that implement the system for the stakeholders, the business owners that want to keep customer service high, absolutely, this is great. That we always hear the story of the cable guy promising to be there between 8 and 5 tomorrow. No, I need it. I need it within this time because you guys guarantee this. So, this is awesome.
It's like the Cosmo Kramer dilemma. Waiting for the cable guy never shows up.
Exactly.
Yeah, but the nice thing about it is, and yes, no one from a technician perspective, but if you look at it from a scheduling perspective, right? Let's just say I schedule Shawn for this work order that has a certain priority and agreement, and the SLA kicks in. Well, let's just say hypothetically you schedule him, and it's right after another job. And based on the drive time and everything else, you won't meet that SLA. So now you have that capability to take all of that into consideration and say, oh, yeah, I probably need to schedule somebody else so that we meet our, whether it's our contractual agreements, it's just customer satisfaction, whatever it may be.
Right.
You now have that capability to go look at that and say, all right, we should be good.
There's your optimization objective for as soon as possible. That's right there.
There you
That's
go.
going to meet that need if we don't meet our SLA.
Yeah,
exactly.
The pieces are fitting together very nicely.
I know, it's awesome. So there's much more in the release notes, not only for field service and customer service and the coming soon on the project service, but check out the release notes for a ton of stuff coming in sales, talent, F&O,
retail, business central.
AI in general, just a ton of stuff. There's so much. The document's, 300 pages? 200 something pages?
315 pages.
There you go, 315 pages, and it's again a living document growing all the time. So I think we've done our good work here on these items. But before we wrap, or send it over to Resco actually, any last comments about the release notes or anything for the audience? Are you guys going to be at any conferences coming up soon? That's something else we could talk about.
I will be at CRM UG Focus on March 11th, and I'll be doing a session about the latest and greatest field service mobile functionality. So I will talk a little bit about what's coming as well with the embedded IoT and some of the capabilities that I now have access to play around with and see from the October-November release. So stay tuned for that. And then also I'll be at D365 Saturday, February 23rd in Tampa. So I think there's 3 sessions that I'm doing with field service and IoT and apparently a Jeopardy game with Ben Vollmer, which I'm going to get destroyed. But that's okay.
Ooh, I might actually have to go to Tampa to see that.
I know, right?
I'm gonna get my butt whooped,
and it's gonna be enjoyable to watch.
But that's okay. And then the day before, we're doing an IoT hackathon from 1 to 5. So I think there's about 90 people coming to the hackathon. So that'll be really exciting to see what they come up with.
That's very cool. Sarah, anywhere you're going to be in the near future?
No. Surprisingly, I don't have anything. I was going to try to get to Focus. Unfortunately, other commitments came into play. Those actually changed. So maybe I'll hop on a plane and head to Focus and just get to see what's going on there. So
there you go.
Come heckle me.
I can't think of anything. Yeah, come heckle you. Absolutely.
Well, and then in a little over a month, we'll all be at MVP Summit, which will be very exciting.
That's right. It'll be my third and both yours first. So I'll have to make sure that you guys are well behaved. Which
that's hard for me.
Well, I was really talking about you, Scooter, not so much Sarah, because I know she'll be fine. But that's true. And I do know one thing I'm excited about at MVP Summit, outside of talking to the product teams and getting all that great knowledge. That's NDA, and I couldn't tell you about it unless I killed you. We're gonna go see Captain Marvel. I'm pretty excited about that.
Oh, nice. Yes, that's right.
Yeah.
Yes. I actually have tickets for the 7th, so I will have seen it before MVP Summit. But
no spoilers.
No, I do not do that stuff. Absolutely not.
Right.
But I'll definitely
join
you guys.
Well, I can attest that she did not do it when we were in Seattle in October, because she went to go see Bohemian Rhapsody with Julie Yak, and there were no gotchas. And then a week later, I went, and it was an amazing movie.
Yep.
Yes, it was. I love that movie. All right, well, I think we've done our damage, and I think it's time to turn it over to the fine folks over at Resco for the Resco Minute. So on behalf of Scott, air quotes, Scooter LaFonte, and the Dynamics 365 Diva, we will see you next time on the next At Your Service, and take it away, Resco.
Hello and welcome again to another week's episode. My name is Agnes. I'm the Director of Marketing here at Resco, and today we're going to go a bit over offline HTML. So for any piece of technology, but especially for software products, flexibility is a backbone feature. The requirements of a business dictate, which technologies can be used and what is a good fit, and what are the limits. But the inability to deliver or to satisfy a certain critical need might mean an extended search for the right option. So costing time, resources, and of course, money. This is obviously true for CRM systems, but even more true for mobility. The mobility landscape is ever evolving, and the requirements of businesses for robust and at the same time very flexible mobile solutions are growing so much more in recent years. And custom colors, images, and logos. What about, complex business logic, running offline, maybe even location tracking, sending data in real time, Dynamics apps showing records or routes, flexible navigation in the application. What about custom components not envisioned by the product developers? So you name it. The businesses come up with such a variety of needs that any software product faces a lot of challenges. Limitations are always problematic. This is why even very good piece of packed software is open and extendable. So in terms of Resco, the ultimate flexibility and extensibility comes from the form of offline HTML and JavaScript bridge. So if we imagine a field service operation servicing a very particular type of machines, And let's say these machines display readings, so values that the technician needs to enter into the mobile app, but the machine displays the values in a special way, in a sort of grid, for example. So it would be best if the user of the mobile app could enter the values also in a grid to avoid any errors. Makes sense, right? Resco's standard user interface offers a couple of ways to approach this problem, but none of them would exactly be copying the interface of the machine. So what can you do? You create a custom HTML page that looks the same as the one on the machine and insert it into the mobile app. Simple. And the customers won't stop there though. I mean, the entered values determine what kind of service the machine needs. So once the user enters, the actual data, the app should calculate the type of service and show the calculated value to the user. This again is something that is not present out of the box in the product. So what can you do? Write the logic in JavaScript and insert it into Resco. Resco's offline HTML and JavaScript bridge is a flexible way of extending the mobile application. You can create your own HTML pages and insert them in the mobile app so that they become part of the configuration package and are also available offline, of course. And these pages can be used to extend the application's UI for components that maybe are not present in Resco out of the box. So for example, the data matrix from our example, but they can be used to replace the Resco's standard UI completely. So you can utilize the reliable data layer with an offline mode and synchronization, but build your own UI from scratch. So we've used this approach ourselves a couple of times, for example, for the Eat with Resco app, which allowed attendees at the Microsoft Inspire conference to book a meeting with Resco experts and order a simple lunch through the app, all with a dedicated user interface completely different from the standard Resco package. And finally, you can use the pages and their JavaScript code only for business logic, so the pages don't have to be visible. They can just perform some calculations or other business logic in the background. And Resco's JavaScript bridge actually allows this interaction of your code with the mobile app. So to create a record in, for example, a local database, query records from the server, or change the form's caption, you just have to call corresponding methods. So the API is really extensive here. And combined with, all together, this offers a great way for anyone to customize the application for any business need. And what can't be covered with, a standard Resco configuration tool can be addressed with offline HTML and JavaScript bridge. So if you're intrigued to know more, please get in touch with us at www.resco.net or simply drop us an email at communications@resco.net. Hope to hear from you soon. Till next time, cheers.